example of somebody being loyal to Donald Trump and having none of that loyalty repaid, despite the fact that I think politically she degraded herself because she was an extraordinarily impressive politician before she decided to go full MAGA. And again, then you look at all the battles, like say, everybody lining up against the Jew at Turning Point. It's not a good look. Ben Shapiro versus the world. Not a good look. Everybody killing, crushing Mark Levin. Not a good look, but that's what they're doing. And they're saying, oh, Charlie wouldn't want us to deplatform anybody. Nazis, really? Like white supremacists, Holocaust deniers, really? You don't think Charlie would say this is not a good idea? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'd want Holocaust deniers to be embraced by the conservative movement, but I don't know. Vaughn, you know more about this than I do. I just thought it was a bizarre spectacle at Turning Point where everybody was attacking Ben Shapiro, who, by the way, got more anti-Semitic garbage thrown at him in the 2016 and 2020 campaign than anybody else.
It's the evolution of power. And we've watched it all unfold before our eyes in the way in which you bring up Elise Stefanik. The President of the United States and his coalition can be picky and choosy. And I remember a year ago, I was asking Elise Stefanik whether she believed E. Jean Carroll after a jury said that Donald Trump had sexually abused her. And she struggled to answer initially before finally saying she didn't believe E. Jean Carroll. And ultimately, it didn't get her the vice presidential nomination. It got her the UN ambassadorship nomination, but then he ended up not sticking by her. Ultimately, she left Congress. She's goes and runs for governor. But this is the part: is what is the consequence? There really isn't one for Donald Trump, and there was no consequence for him when he lost Mike Pence. No consequence
Vaughn,
when he lost Liz Cheney.
Let's underline this, Vaughn, just on how disloyal he was to her. She just said she'd run if she'd run unopposed. And she basically didn't have anybody running against her. A dude on Long Island goes, yeah, I'm thinking I might run. And Trump goes, I like both of them. I'm not going to endorse anybody. The other guy on Long Island hadn't even jumped in the race. And he politically, ran the bus over Elise Stefanik. I mean, he went out of his way to be disloyal to her.
I mean, and he doesn't even seem to talk to Kari Lake that much either, right? I mean, look, the folks that think that they can saddle up to Donald Trump and they have some lifetime pass on the monopoly board, it just doesn't exist. And I'm not sure at what point it's going to become clear for Speaker Johnson or for any member of Congress or any individual running statewide for governor that tying yourself to Donald Trump doesn't mean that he's going to be committed to you for the next week. Time and again, we have seen that commitment fall flat. And for this president of the United States, he has power. He has a loyal army of little political operatives who are in their 20s, who have grown up under the Donald Trump era and who are willing to go to bat for those that are the most popular candidate out in the fields. Right now, Elise Stefanik isn't that person anymore. Forget what it was 1 year ago. You can be a shining flower one day and you can be dead to Donald Trump the next.
See if others learn that lesson about contorting yourself for Donald Trump and what comes afterward. By the way, you can add J.D. Vance to the list of people who are different before Donald Trump.
Oh,
and after Donald Trump.
Like, I mean,
do that split screen.
Here's a guy that would come on our show, go on to every other show. Oh. He was like the East Coast media's like darling.
Talk about New York dinner party circuit.
Oh my God, New York dinner party circuits, and then again he'd go to all the Silicon Valley things in this little Silicon Valley. I like San Francisco. Mm-hmm. They're the smartest people in the world out here. I mean.
Now railing against the elite.
It is crazy. Yeah, this guy that like was a hedge funder and the elite, darling of like elite media and the East Coast establishment now being, and again saying, maybe he's Hitler. I don't know.
Talking about Trump.
Saying Trump, yeah. And then saying if you're a Christian, like Jesus expects more of us than this. And then this is what I love. A guy The guy, he didn't go to University of Alabama, so he can be excused for, like, you know, not being that smart. But a guy that went to the schools that he went to, saying, "Oh, I said he might be Hitler because I was fooled by the media." Come on. Come on, seriously? We're supposed to believe you're too dumb? Like you listen to the media, who, by the way, quote Donald Trump and show him day in and day out saying the words himself. And he says, "Oh, I said all that stuff because the media fooled me." I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical that that's going to wash in 2028.
We'll see, it got him the vice presidency. We'll
Yes,
see if
it
it gets
did.
him up to the next rung on the
Yes, it-
ladder.
yes,
MS
it did.
Now senior White House reporter Vaughn Hilliard. Vaughn, thanks so much. Former U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill, thank you as well. Merry Christmas,
Claire has a team that's going to be playing in Kansas now.
That's right, Claire. The Chiefs are moving, huh?
Joe, I prayed before we came on that you wouldn't mention it. I am in grief. It is like somebody in the family died. Keep in mind, I was
Claire,
raised in a household.
It's,
where my parents
it's
said-
Kansas, not Hades.
Yeah.
You don't have to cross the
That
River
is
Styx.
Hades.
Just go across the bridge to go to
No,
Kansas. It's a great
that is
state.
Hades.
Hikes from Kansas.
No,
Right?
I was raised in a family where my parents said the last one in the car is a Jayhawk. So, you know, I got to just tell you that this, and I'm serious now, this is really tough. The Missouri legislature and the Republican governor dropped the ball here. The Democratic governor in Kansas and the legislature in Kansas picked up the ball, handed them a lot more money, and of course, they're now the Kansas Chiefs.
I like Kansas. Is that all right?
Great. Yeah. You got
Kansas
5 more
is a great
years, too.
state.
This will be a slow rolling process for you, Claire.
I mean, they may
Very
not
painful.
even
Very painful.
The way they're playing now, they may not even have an NFL team in 5 years. Don't worry about
Well,
it.
maybe that's why they're playing so badly, because they told them they had to go to Kansas. Maybe that's the problem.
No, that's a theory.
Sure. On message.
Blame it on Kansas. Okay,
Yep.
we'll do it.
All right. A dark start to the holiday season
Wow,
for you
it's
here,
grim.
Claire.
Merry Christmas,
Claire,
everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Kansas New Year to you.
Still ahead. The end of this year saw a battle, of course, over the Affordable Care Act, resulting in premiums for millions of Americans rising dramatically. Our next guest says 2025 is the year America's healthcare system broke. That story next on Morning Joe.
In terms of Donald Trump's proximity to some of the legal questions at play here.
You know, it is hard to understand why the president and the White House and the DOJ are acting the way they are. Putting it out and then not really putting out the info, all it does is raise more questions. And perhaps President Trump has done nothing wrong. But we don't know. And there's pictures and facts like the one that you just said that raise questions, really serious questions about what happened and what didn't happen. And this isn't political, whether it's Bill Clinton or Donald Trump or whomever, the facts need to get out. And if you haven't done anything wrong, you want to put the facts out. You want to clear your name. He is only making it look every day more and more like he has done something wrong. And why wouldn't you as a president want to stand up and say, I did nothing wrong? What happened to these women and these girls is unacceptable. I didn't know that was what Epstein was like. Whatever his excuse or reason was for being in those pictures or on those planes, tell us. And you know, the White House and DOJ have said the problem is we need more time to redact the victims' names. They have released victims' names already. They should redact the victims' names, but that's not their priority because we've seen victims' names be in what has been released. It just
but Trump is leering over these women. He's holding the beauty pageants himself. He's calling Epstein a swell guy. He's calling Maxwell a hell of a woman. Oh, he wishes her well. And he doesn't want to see the billionaires victimized. He told you what he thinks.
Do you think lawmakers and people will refocus after January 1st or not here?
I'll play the hypothetical. I don't think it works at all. We have something called the internet. As you recall, Al Gore invented it.
Right.
And these things live for forever. So after Christmas, after New Year's, people go right back to the well and churn up their conspiracy game all over again. The charade continues for yet another news cycle. So if that is the aim, I don't think it is. I think it's just the fact that the DOJ was not adequately prepared for this, and they're hastily trying to get these documents out the door, that mistakes are being made. I don't think it has anything to do with the timing of the holidays.
And Christine, I mean, I've spoken to, and Kate has, and Sarah has too, spoken to some of the Jeffrey Epstein survivors over the last several days. And Lisa Phillips said to me last night, this just comes across as a game. They seem to be playing a game right now.
Yeah.
That's how they feel. Whether that's the correct assessment or not, I don't know. But that's how the survivors are feeling this morning.
Yeah, it's hard to think it's anything else. And to listen to these survivors that you all have interviewed and other people have interviewed, it's heartbreaking. Most of them were just young girls when they were, groomed and victimized by Maxwell and Epstein. And it seems like, the DOJ is behaving almost like children. Let's see how far we can get before we get caught. And then when they get caught, they come up with some ridiculous excuse about why they weren't prepared. If they really needed more time, they could have stepped up and said, we're not going to have it done by this date. We will have it done by X date. They could be talking to victims and their representatives. And victim after victim, survivor after survivor, their lawyers, their representatives have all said no one has spoken to them. If your concern here was to help the survivors and get more information and more justice, you would be talking to the survivors. And every time there is another misstep, another delay, it's re-victimizing these poor women who have already been through so much. And everyone, whether they're Democrats and Republicans to date in government, have failed these women, and we need to keep the focus on them, and that's why we need to get all the information out. And I agree with Pete, the holidays are going to have no impact on this. People will come back to this. This is a gut issue for people. It's about how we treat each other, how we treat survivors, how we treat girls.
Christine Quinn, Pete Seat, thanks for being with us this morning. Aside from the subject matter we've been discussing, let me just say I hope you both have a wonderful holiday. Thank you very much. Sarah?
All right. A tragedy in Texas now. A plane transporting a child burn victim to a hospital crashes, killing at least 5 people, including a 2-year-old. Officials say a Mexican Navy plane, which was transporting a medical patient to a burn unit at a children's hospital, crashed in Galveston Bay during, you can see there, very foggy conditions Monday. 8 people were aboard, 4 naval crew and 4 civilians. Incredibly, a local resident is said to have dived into the water, found the wreckage, and managed to pull a woman out alive. A second survivor was also rescued. One person, though, is still missing. U.S. and Mexican officials are investigating what caused that crash.
There are new details now on a pill form of a popular weight loss medication. Patients may now be able to avoid injections altogether, instead soon swapping to a daily pill, as the FDA just approved a pill form of Wegovy. CNN's Jacqueline Howard has much more on this. And this will grab a lot of people's attention. What is it? 1 in 8 Americans, adult Americans, are currently say they are on one of these weight loss drugs. So this is something for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, Kate, this is definitely getting a lot of attention. And what we're learning about this Wegovy pill, it's very similar to the Wegovy injections that, as you mentioned, have already been widely used and widely available. So they're very similar. The Wegovy pill, it also includes the active ingredient semaglutide. And we know the safety and efficacy are similar between the pill form and the injection form. When you look at clinical trial data, patients who took the Wegovy pill, they showed an average weight loss of 14% over 64 weeks. And the side effects were similar to the side effects we tend to see with the Wegovy injections, which were mostly gastrointestinal. So again, the key difference here, Kate, is how the medication is administered. We know the injections are weekly, but the Wegovy pill, it will be a daily pill, and it must be taken on an empty stomach. So patients are told to avoid drinking, eating, or taking other medications for at least 30 minutes after taking the pill. So that's a key difference. But overall, Kate, this appears to be the same medication. And now soon patients will have an option to take the medication in pill form, Kate.
The price of GLP-1s has been, a problem for so many people. I mean, it's really a barrier to entry for a lot of people to get the medication. How much is this pill going to cost?
Yeah, that's right. And, when this announcement was made about the FDA approval, the first question was, well, how much will it cost? So we do know the starter dose will cost $149 for patients paying out of pocket. But we're still waiting on the cost of the additional doses that as you take these medications, the first dose is a smaller dose, then you kind of go up in size when it comes to dose. So we're still waiting on the cost of those additional doses, and that will be released next month in January, Kate.
Very interesting. Jacqueline Howard, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Sarah.
All right, still ahead. Good news if you're driving to grandma's for Christmas. Record holiday travel. Yeah, that's annoying, but there are lower prices at the pump. We'll discuss. And some custom license plates have definitely landed on the naughty list in Illinois.
Hank used to suffer from what felt like a cold and flu hangover in the morning.
Now he uses Mucinex Nighttime to sleep like he's not sick. It relieves your symptoms to help you get to sleep and won't ruin your morning, so you're ready to go. Mucinex Nighttime Symptom Relief. Sleep like you're not sick.
Here at Renewal by Andersen, you can replace your windows and doors right now. And for this month, all
money, $120,000 a year. 45,000 of that is going to be going to health care insurance for their family of 4. I mean, it's just, and whether you're talking about Obamacare or whether you're talking about the private industry, health industry, it's unaffordable for working Americans, for middle-class Americans, for even people starting to kind of move into the upper middle-class realm.
Yeah, and I think, there's the issue of the rising healthcare costs overall, right? And that's something that both parties have to address and find solutions for. So that's because of hospital consolidations, that's because of prescription drug use, prescription drugs. But the other issue is that if people who are healthy are not going to utilize the insurance, right? So they have coverage, but they can't afford it. Like you said, I'm an ER doc, I see this. They're going to then delay care. They're going to wait until they're really sick to utilize the emergency department. And when you do that, it's actually more expensive.
So I have a son with diabetes. I can afford to pay those costs. And for a working family, it's pretty horrible. So they don't do the treatment because they can't afford it, right? So what happens? Then, instead of taxpayers paying for the prevention, they're paying for kidney dialysis, they're paying for amputations, they're paying for heart problems. Suddenly, taxpayers are strapped with a lot more.
Right, and the focus really should be on preventive care, right? So we want to prevent people from going to the ER. Like I don't mind taking care of patients if you have an accident and or a true emergency. But the way our healthcare system is focused, it's very fragmented, it's very decentralized, and it's not focused on preventing people from getting ill. It's it's focused on treating people once they're sick. Mm-hmm. And actually, that's the most expensive way to care for people.
And Allie, that's the same thing with health insurance. Now, it's catastrophic coverage.
Yeah, catastrophic.
You pay for everything else.
Which, if you remember back when the Obamacare debate was in full swing, this was one of the things that they were trying to counter. The idea that emergency room care only ends up driving costs up, and that's why you had things like the mandate and other. And I think Capitol Hill's trying to figure out the best way to deal with that system while also making, I think what both parties have agreed to me, are needed changes. So that's the one side of the equation that you point out. But I want to go back to the way that you talk about erosion of trust, and then to go even deeper, the brain drain Andre, and that we've seen within some of these institutions like the NIH and others who, A, are lacking funding for research, but B, have people leaving in part because of DOJ's efforts early on. What does that do to public health research, public health faith and trust in institutions going forward?
Yeah, and I want to say, public health was already an area that was severely underfunded, right? Just in terms of when we focus on in the United States, right? I also think that people don't appreciate how effective a lot of those interventions were. Like, there was a reason why we haven't seen the infections that our parents and grandparents saw, like polio, because vaccines have been really effective. And so when you have that evidence-based information that then is rescinded or, asterisks are put next to it, there is that erosion of trust. And then, like you said, there's that brain drain. So we have people who are leaving, people who have been careerists, right? People who really know how to get information out to communities leaving. And what that causes is really a huge fissure between the public and institutions. And we already know that mistrust in science and mistrust in institutions has been increasing over the last few years. But in the small moments this year, that has widened the divide substantially.
And the departure of those experts in many cases creates a vacuum filled by conspiracy theorists. So here we are. The new piece, How America's Healthcare System Broke in 2025, online now at time.com. Founder and CEO of Advancing Health Equity, author of the book Legacy, Dr. Uche Blackstock. Dr. Blackstock, great to have you here. Happy holidays.
Thanks so much.
All right. Coming up, the legendary restaurateur behind a number of iconic spots, including Tribeca Grill and Nobu, will be our guest. Talk about his book. We're back in 2 minutes.
I tried everything for my stubborn dandruff, and then I found Nizoral. It works differently to get to the root cause of dandruff. Its active ingredient is 10 times more effective at fighting fungus, the primary cause of dandruff. Say goodbye to stubborn dandruff with Nizoral, now available in a shampoo plus conditioner.
When you've got a classic ride, you need tools you trust. Whether you drive it every day or only take it out on the biggest night of the year, count on Harbor Freight. 12 days of deals happening now.
Your house might not be a mansion, but it still deserves a $19 pro home cleaning. Your cleaner will scrub everything from your toilet to your stovetop. Your whole place will be vacuumed and dusted. Honestly, you might think the price is too good to be true, but once you try it, you'll never go back to cleaning the house yourself. Pick a date, choose your cleaner, and book your first cleaning today for only $19.
They set me up and schemed to ruin my life.
Just apologize for what you did. Just apologize.
No, Tony, no.
The whole world is going to know the truth.
He's a damn hero is what he is.
I'm just getting started. Dead Man's Wire. Rated R.
When you have a rigorous training schedule like mine, we push our bodies all the time. Nutrition for me is really important. Having all my bases covered in one supplement gives me confidence I'm giving my body what it needs.
I tried everything for my stubborn dandruff, and then I found Nizoral. It works differently to get to the root cause of dandruff. Its active ingredient is 10 times more effective at fighting fungus, the primary cause of dandruff. Say goodbye to stubborn dandruff with Nizoral, now available in a shampoo plus conditioner.
When you've got a classic ride, you need tools you trust. Whether you drive it every day or only take it out on the biggest night of the year, count on Harbor Freight. 12 days of deals happening now.
He is the force behind some of the most iconic restaurants in New York City, including Nobu and Tribeca Grill. And after decades in the dining business, award-winning restaurateur Drew Nieporent is highlighting some of the lessons he's learned along the way, starting with his introduction to the food business, flipping burgers at McDonald's. He's come a long way since then. He's compiled it all in a new book, I'm Not Trying to Be Difficult, Stories from the Restaurant
Kind of sounds like you are trying to be difficult.
No.
And Drew.
No, somebody
Hello,
says
Drew.
they're not trying to be difficult.
Well,
What does it mean?
You can ask my wife if I'm difficult. She'll say yes.
Yeah,
but
is that good?
Everybody
Tell us about
else.
that title. What do you mean when you say that?
No, actually, I had a different title. I had a title I love. My daughter nixed the title. My wife nixed the title. They came up with this title. There's no way you cannot open 40 restaurants and be difficult. The whole point of being able to do that is that you get along with people. So I pride myself in that. But Of course, it has to be done my way.
So you're of course.
Yeah,
Your resume is incredible. You said 40 restaurants. We just gave a couple of the highlights. Let's take somewhere like Nobu, for example. Sure. How do you get that off the ground and sustain it through all these years?
First of all, you're going to have to read the book because it's actually the untold story of Nobu.
Yeah.
Nobu actually, it's probably the most important restaurant group over the last 30 years. There's 57 of them. 57 around the world.
Oh my gosh.
Robert De Niro and Nobu Matsuhisa were in Rome to open a Nobu hotel, and the Pope, Leo, met with them. That's how significant it is.
Look at those two there.
Yeah, that's when we were kids.
Yeah.
But no, I worked at McDonald's when I was 17. I do the hamburgers at Madison Square Garden now for the last 12 years, and they're unbelievable. So I've done, I've done 3-star restaurants. Nobu, it goes without saying, is just phenomenal.
I love this though. I mean, your origin story. Of course, you're talking about flipping burgers, but I love the fact that you went around with your dad,
right,
as he was trying to get liquor licenses for restaurants. Sure. Which again sounds like something. Again, you've got to know how to get along with people. You got to know how to work people. You got to know how to charm people. Talk about what you learned following your dad around.
My father worked for the State Liquor Authority, licensing restaurants. My father was the most charming person you've ever met. He'd go in and basically tell these people, my son is very interested in the restaurant business, would love to be doing this. And they would all try to talk me out of it because they hated the business. Yeah. So there was more resolve about that. My mother was an actress. So she was a very successful CBS radio actress. And she was very theatrical. So I had to get in the restaurant business. Yeah. That was the key thing. I ran the New York Marathon, but I also went to about 330 pounds at one point in my life.
You're in the restaurant business.
Well,
nobody's expecting you to be.
Everything I do is about food, and all my restaurants have resonated. They've been very, very successful.
So talk to us about how the industry has changed in the last few years. I think two things in particular: the post-COVID, right? That COVID obviously scary for the industry. We saw so many places hurting, but then also, and I hate to bring it up because so many restaurant owners are annoyed by it, but Instagram. People are sitting there taking pictures of their food in the setting and not actually eating anything.
Jonathan, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, the stupid restaurateurs are the ones that are against Instagram. If Instagram is the most phenomenal thing, quite frankly, you see how beautiful the food is. You want to go. You're motivated to go to those restaurants.
Right.
And
so it doesn't bother you?
No, not at all. I love social media. And I just don't like all the fights on TikTok, but other than that.
So Drew, better than anybody how hard the restaurant business is. That's right. How tough it is. It's there every day. You wake up, it's a new day. You got to do it again. So what keeps you coming back? What do you love about running a restaurant?
Well, the key thing is, I was able to create all different types of restaurants. Yeah. It wasn't that I stamped every restaurant with the same thing. So of the 40 restaurants, I went Vietnamese, American, French, Mexican, and it's that creativity. Also, I love working with people, and that's why I'm not that difficult, but they wanted the title to be a little provocative. But the key thing is also my restaurant stood the test of time. Tribeca Grill, 35 years. My first restaurant when I was 29, 38 years. Most restaurants flip in like 10 years, the length of their lease. My restaurants have hung out.
So talk about the secret here. I mean, again, you've been extraordinary.
The secret sauce?
There is no secret sauce. I mean, it's usually just hard work. I had a friend that started in the restaurant business doing something else. His family said he was crazy, but he was there every night. And he was there every single night. If a plate was late, he'd say, your food's free. He kept doing it. Now he probably has 10 restaurants. Again, small compared to you, but I'm wondering, is the key staying engaged every day and not expecting these things to run themselves?
Yeah, no, that's very clear. But the most important thing is professional knowledge. That you really understand what it is that takes not only to run a restaurant, but you have to understand the food because you have to relate to the chef. And then you have to have the confidence the confidence to be able to instruct people. Because you have to inspire people. They look at you. It's like a coach in football. Sometimes these coaches, they look at you and this guy knows what he's doing. I should listen to him.
Is that what you have to do with the chefs? I mean, how important is it for you to be able to read a chef, say, I can trust this guy. I'm going to go to my next restaurant. This guy needs a little more, or this woman needs a little more support. Is that, how much does that play?
The proof's in the pudding, Joe. Every restaurant where we set out to achieve something of stature, like 3 stars from the New York Times, every time we got the 3 stars, guess what? The chef wanted to go across the street, open his own restaurant. What did Drew have to do with this? Yeah. So that's obviously in the book. But the point is, I love what I do. I've lived a tremendous life. I love what you guys do. And by the way, in the book, there is a whole chapter on Donald Trump because in 1997, he hosed me. But you'll have to read the that's why I really wanted to be on the show, because I love what you guys do. And I really mean that. I love what you guys do.
Thank you, Drew. The book is so much fun, including stories from your days as a waiter on a cruise ship, which you call basic training. The new book is called I'm Not Trying to Be Difficult, Stories from the Restaurant Trenches. It's really fun read. On sale now. Drew, thanks so much. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Drew, thank you for being here.
Joe,
coming up next, a new batch of documents pertaining to the Jeffrey Epstein case has now been reposted to the Justice Department's website after being taken down. We'll get reporting on what the files contain as the DOJ continues to face questions over its handling of the release. We are back in just 2 minutes.
No matter what you drive, there's only one guarantee. It's gonna break down.
I had a sensor light up on my dashboard. $2,600.
But if you've got Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a car repair again.
In my first year with Endurance, they covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
It was like almost a $6,000 job. Endurance covered it.
With Endurance, your car's most expensive parts are covered, plus hundreds more.
I got a check engine light and a huge bill to fix it. Endurance covered it fully.
I just call Endurance, tell them what my customer needs, and Endurance takes care of it.
If your car's under 20 years old, Endurance has you covered with unlimited miles.
So, who's gonna pay for your next breakdown? You?
Or Endurance.
Right now, you can get $300 off any plan, plus a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free, all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-855-941-6538 for a free quote.
AI can turn your lights on.
Lights on.
And drive your car. And even write your kid's essay. But AI ain't gonna fix your broken water line or pay for the big repair bill. Having a plan from HomeServe offers real solutions. And when a covered system breaks, we'll send a qualified contractor and pay for the repair. There's nothing artificial about the peace of mind you get with a plan from HomeServe. Getting one is quite intelligent.
Plans from HomeServe start at just $4.99 a month.
Call 1-833-812-1903 or visit homeserve.com.
Hey guys, Viagra is not your only option. Rose Sparks act fast and stay active longer. They aren't pills. Sparks dissolve under your tongue to reach your bloodstream for speedy results. Connect with a provider at ro.co/sparks.
This isn't your average pill. This is Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks.
Rose Sparks is a fast-acting solution because it dissolves under your tongue.
Rose Sparks.
Guys, get started today.
Connect with a provider to find out if Rose Sparks are right for you.
Bringing down drug prices like at a level that has never even been thought of, by thousands. Think of it, by 1,000%, by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400% in some cases. A drug that sells for $10 in London is costing $130 in New York. We're bringing it down to $20, and they're going to go up to 20. So they're going from 10 to 20, which is a doubling. It's a doubling. That's a lot, but it's a doubling. But we're going down to 20. So we're going down, if you can do your own math, but it's 2,000%, 3,000%. It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing. 8 billion%. He's
free
saving you. No, they're giving you.
That's good.
Buy some aspirin. They pay you $8 billion. Believe me. Jonathan Lemire, this is incredible. Nobody's explained that to him yet.
It's extraordinary math.
That's really extraordinary that nobody's explained that in the White House yet.
Yeah.
Give me your White House reporting on why nobody's explained to him that his math is literally impossible.
His uncle did go to MIT, as he's fond of saying, so perhaps he is an expert in the field. But no, but it's actually a telling little moment that, again, this is something that's so obviously just wrong, and yet there's no one in there who can say to him, sir, and whether or not there are tears in the person's eyes as they say sir is unclear. But you don't have this right, because no one tells him no, no one tells him wrong, and that's by design.
And even when his advisors or commerce secretaries on TV and asked about this, they can't just say, he slipped up, he made a mistake. Here's what he meant. He just said, well, what he's trying to say, like nobody can just say, he messed up, he's wrong about that, because they fear the consequences.
Yeah, and we're going to get to Grandpa playing football last night, but before we do, the New York Post, Communist Party, now they've got Mamdani, they've got AOC, they're converting, but they don't have Donald Trump, who said the largest communist takeover of any company in decades, with seizing 10% of Intel, seizing control of other companies. He wants to invade Venezuela to seize their oil. I mean, that is just pure. You know, Tony Montana had pure cocaine that he moved around Miami. I mean, Donald Trump's seizure of these companies, pure communism. It's pure socialism. This would make Britain in 1974 blush.
State capitalism at best, but more like communism, probably.
Exactly,
State capitalism is generous. We hate to play the game too often, but
let's do it again.
If President Barack Obama had said,
oh my gosh,
the United States government is taking over and will take 10% of your future earnings. NVIDIA, or whatever the company is, what would be the reaction?
Well, they're worried about lettuce. Mamdani may have the city come in and help grocery stores open up and sell lettuce. He's taking over the biggest tech companies in the world. The United States government taking over the biggest tech companies in the world.
I just remember when Kamala Harris said that she wanted to attack the problem of price gouging, and people said that's communism, that's socialism, and now here we are with this complete upside down view of what conservative economic policy is supposed to look like.
Did either of you guys see the game? You
watched a bunch of it.
I was asleep, but we've done sports already.
We have done sports already.
on my show.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. At 6 o'clock, it becomes my show.
Correct. And amen to that.
If Mika's not here, and then it's Mika's show. But here's the thing about Phillip Rivers. I'm for him. There's no doubt about it, right? But he doesn't look 44 when he throws the ball. He looks, and I say this with all due respect, he looks 64. Like, he looks like your dad coming out after Thanksgiving dinner, like, saying, hey, can I throw with you guys? And you notice, like, the throwing motion, he gets it there. Don't get me wrong. He gets it there sometimes. Sometimes if it's past 30 yards, he'll underthrow it. But I'm looking, I love the story.
Great.
This is a great story. I love it. But the thing that I just can't get over, and it was kind of like Barack Obama when he'd throw out the opening pitch or when he'd bowl. You know, it's just the motion, the stiff motion. And look at this. So look, he just kind of, he comes from the side down here. TJ, you got to show it down here. He comes from the side down here. It's almost like he's got a shoulder problem.
Is it pick six?
There's a pick six.
There it is.
Almost like there's a shoulder. You know, he throws it like that instead of, boom.
You know what, though? He's always had that throwing motion.
Has he always been?
When he was 24 , he threw it like that. Now
Has he always carried the Geritol in his side pocket, though?
And somehow he became one of those prolific passers in the history of the NFL. Now he's 44, a little bit less zip on that pass. When he throws it, he did throw for almost 300 yards, a couple of touchdowns.
It's pretty amazing.
They lost the game because Brock Purdy was great last night, and the Niners could win the entire conference with the way they're playing. But Rivers, for people who don't know, 44 years old, came out of retirement coaching high school football in Alabama.
One of the best stories.
Has a grandson.
Oh, come on.
And now he's playing in a Monday night football game. Great story, but Brock Purdy was a little bit better.
And Paw Paw's kicking it old school. So let me ask you, Willie, since you weren't here yesterday, and we talked sports for about 45 minutes. We can't figure out who's going to win, who has the best shot of winning the Super Bowl, because everybody's so genuinely bad. in the NFL. And every time you think it's the Denver Broncos, oh, well, the Broncos are at home. There's nobody that's going to be. And then all of a sudden, Jacksonville just absolutely torches them. You think it's the Bills, and the Bills almost lose to the Browns. Nobody's good out there. Like, who has the best shot of winning the Super Bowl?
I like the Patriots, and I'm not just pandering to the mayor. I think
this is old Yankee dipsy.
No.
You
know why? I think Drake May is MVP caliber, but also he's just got that like low heart rate thing going that you look for those assassin quarterbacks who are going to win Super Bowls. I also never count out, though they won't have home field advantage, Josh Allen. If he gets rolling in the playoffs, the Bills could be right there too. I don't know if I'm a buyer of the Denver Broncos necessarily.
I don't think I am yet.
I mean, they had a great season, but I'm not sure I'm a buyer. Bills look good to me, and the Niners are hot right now.
Yeah.
If they win these last two games, they get the #1 seed. The road to the Super Bowl goes all the way through them. They could play at home in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it's whoever. I think it's whoever gets hot. And I mean, you also look at coaches, and the Bills just have one of the best coaches in football right now, along with one of the best quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, Allen is the best player in the league. So that might, at the end of the day, just be what it's about. And we talked about this yesterday. The path has never been clearer. Their arch nemesis, the Chiefs, are already out. The Pats have been wonderful, but that's still a very young team, as I've said all year long. There's a season away, I think. That said, they're going to win the division, so they'll have some home playoff games.
But Vrabel, though,
spectacular,
an extraordinary coach. So you've got really, I think, one of the best coaches in the league against the best player in the league when that showdown.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the Vrabel-May combo, sign me up for the next decade. The Patriots are extraordinarily lucky. Vrabel sat last year without a job. Any team could have hired him, including the two teams here in New York who were desperate for coaching, and no one did. Sorry. But yeah, it is a wide open season. And I do think the NFC West is probably going to produce. I mean, whether it's the Rams, the Niners, I actually believe in the Seahawks less, even though I understand they're the top seed right now, just because we have seen Sam Darnold in big games not come through.
Yeah.
And then there's the Eagles, who have been so weird and so torturous to watch all year long, but they're playing better of late. They've done it before.
And the Bears at some point have to say, wait, are the Bears for real?
No.
I mean, Caleb Williams has been good.
He's been very good, and they have a good coach.
It's exciting when the Bears are good.
I'm not ready.
There's a plan. I don't know what the plan is.
I do think there's an effort here to really reshape the team's identity.
Yeah.
And that's a sense that they have underachieved the last 2 years, but they're shipping out fan favorite after fan favorite. Pete Alonso, Edwin Diaz, Jeff McNeil yesterday, Brandon Nimmo, right? Four key guys who've been there a long time. You know, there's rumors of some clubhouse tension last year. They're trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they still have Juan Soto. They still have Francisco Lindor, and they've got money to spend. They just got to do it, which sounds like another team.
Sounds kind of like our Boston Red Sox. And they always end up blaming whoever the poor sucker is that they name general manager. And then at some point you realize it's not the general manager that's not signing the checks. We'll leave it there. Also with us today, we have managing editor of the Bulwark, Sam Stein. He doesn't follow sports, but if you want to know about a great needlepoint pattern to get your parents for Christmas, go to Sam on that one. We also have senior writer at the Dispatch and columnist for Bloomberg Opinion, David Drucker. He's all about football, man. No needlepoint for him. That's just Sam Stein. Sam, it's good to see you.
I have no clue what you're talking about at all. Zero.
What are you talking about?
What are needlepoints?
Don't.
We've seen your Pinterest board.
Yeah, and also, like, you go to commercial break and he immediately takes it out and he starts doing patterns.
He's a big Etsy guy.
He loves Etsy. Anyway, Willie, why don't we go to news now? And maybe Sam will show us. He did the Washington Monument at sunset on needlepoint. That's what he's been working on.
Throw pillow?
Yeah, a little throw pillow.
You can reveal it at the end of the show. But first, more chaos around the Epstein files. A new batch of tens of thousands of documents that appear to be from the Epstein files briefly were posted on the Justice Department's website yesterday before then disappearing without explanation.
They got this down, Willie. Cold, calculated, ruthlessly efficient. They have thought through this like for months.
It's incredible. The material included thousands of additional government documents and emails, as well as several dozen videos from the Bureau of Prisons. The files contain wide-ranging references to President Trump, but being mentioned, of course, does not demonstrate criminal wrongdoing. The Justice Department did not immediately respond to questions about why the documents had been posted and then apparently removed.
Did you see what Bill Clinton's spokesperson did yesterday? It was great. They're like, okay, yeah, all right. You want to show like a picture or two randomly? Yeah, how about a little?
Before then disappearing without explanation.
They got this down, Willie. Cold, calculated, ruthlessly efficient. They have thought through this like for months.
It's incredible. The material included thousands of additional government documents and emails, as well as several dozen videos from the Bureau of Prisons. The files contain wide-ranging references to President Trump, but being mentioned, of course, does not demonstrate criminal wrongdoing. The Justice Department did not immediately respond to questions about why the documents had been posted and then apparently removed.
Did you see what Bill Clinton's spokesperson did yesterday? It was great. They're like, okay, yeah, all right. You want to show like a picture or two randomly? Yeah, how about a little context? Release everything.
Yeah.
Why don't you release everything? Why are you just like it was so clear they were trying to embarrass Bill Clinton. So out of all of the tens of thousands of documents, they released these 2 or 3 that'll get everybody talking about Bill Clinton. It's a whole look over there, look at the bird over there. Well, you know, don't look at the documents and see what's not in there. References to Donald Trump, all this stuff blacked out. Pay attention to Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton's spokesperson comes out and says, I'll tell you what, here's a great idea. You are required under the law, which you're breaking, to release all the documents. Release all the documents. We're fine. That's what Bill Clinton said. It was a great, strong response.
And smart, right? Because they're trying to say we have nothing to hide here, and the rolling production from the Department of Justice doesn't seem to have a rhyme or reason behind what's being released first, second, third, hasn't been released yet. And so I think they're calling that out in a pretty smart fashion by also saying that we haven't actually yet learned anything truly substantively new, right? We knew that Bill Clinton ran in this orbit. We knew that Donald Trump ran in this orbit. Right. We've seen pictures to that effect before. What has really been lacking is the underlying context. And again, when you see hundreds and hundreds of pages just fully blacked out, you have questions about what the redaction method actually is, and if there is some kind of new ongoing investigation that will continue to stymie what kinds of documents are actually released going forward.
You know, it's so preposterous. I mean, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump both hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know if Bill Clinton ever said that he was a great friend like Donald Trump did, but they all hung out with him. There are all pictures there, and for some reason they think people are stupid enough that they can just release Bill Clinton's pictures, and people go, oh, that's a real big scam. No, not even Donald Trump's own supporters are buying this. Did you notice how muted it was? They understood what he was trying to do, what Pam Bondi was trying to do, what Todd Blanche, who actually, wow, I bet that was kind of humiliating. We took down the picture of Donald Trump because we wanted to protect victims who were in the pictures. Yeah. Oh, wonder how he explained that one on the way back to the Justice Department.
Yeah, he kind of tied himself in knots there. Bill Clinton's office, by the way, said he needs no protection. He said clearly this selective release of documents, the photos of him, for example, is an act of protection for someone or something. That is the statement from the Clinton office. And he says, I need no such protection. Put it all out there. No. Let's see all of it. And we haven't seen that yet. Let's bring in MS Now legal affairs reporter Fallon Gallagher. She's been digging through the latest materials since they were posted and then taken down. Good morning. What have you found so far?
Yeah, Willie, so that material, I believe, is actually still back online. It went down and then it went back up. This is the largest batch of actual information that we've gotten since these files started dropping Friday night, and we're still not learning anything substantively new. So most of those files that we got on Friday and over the weekend were pictures. Some of them had already been in the public domain for a while. We had court documents that had definitely been in the public domain. Now we're starting to get some of those internal communications from the Department of Justice, but it's still not the ones that I was hoping to see. So I want to make it clear, we're still going through this material. There's about tens of thousands of pages of documents here. But from what I can see so far in the batch that I've personally been going through, there's emails with the Department of Justice But it's not about, should we charge this high profile person or this high profile person? They're planning their travel to go to Los Angeles to interview victims. This is like very mundane sort of procedural stuff. There's certainly no smoking gun. There's no new evidence of any wrongdoing from anybody who's not named Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, and really not a whole lot of new information yet. I want to caveat, though, we are still going through this information. This is the largest amount of information that we've gotten yet, because if you've gone through the files, when you saw them on Friday, it's like a JPEG here, a JPEG there, and they're mostly pictures. They're mostly pictures of his Manhattan home and his Virgin Islands, his island. This is singular files of like email PDFs. So every single document here is at least 5 pages, sometimes more. So there is a lot to go through, but the headline at this point is that there's no new information and there's nobody else who has done anything wrong, including President Trump.
So, Fallon, is there an expectation that this entire trove of documents, as was promised, as is required by law, now you have Chuck Schumer saying they're going to sue the Justice Department to release all the files, is the expectation that at some point the public will see the Epstein files? Because that's not what we're seeing to this point.
Yeah, and this is really tricky because they are objectively breaking the law. The law was abundantly clear that Friday night by 11:59, they needed to release these documents in full. They have not done that. They signaled Friday before 11:59 that they were not going to be able to meet that deadline. So they're not in compliance here. I know that Schumer has floated suing. It seems like nothing would happen there until January when Congress is back in session. Yesterday, the House floated inherent contempt, which is a very rare procedure that basically allows one chamber of Congress to bypass not only the other chamber of Congress, but also the White House and the judiciary to do anything. But really, the enforcement there is also thin. They can fine Pam Bondi every single day that they don't release, but they've already signaled there, too, that, they're willing to give her a 30-day grace period. So it seems like there's no enforcement here. But at the end of the day, that's up to the Department of Justice, and they're not going to prosecute themselves.
Fallon Gallagher, thank you very much. Coming up, we will continue this conversation and talk about why the administration appears to be dragging its feet when it comes to releasing all of the Epstein files. Morning Joe's coming right back.
Here's the problem with your shower water. It's loaded with chlorine, heavy metals, and rust from old city water pipes that's been slowly damaging your skin, hair, and health for years. That's why I switched to the Eskin filtered shower head. It's easy to install and removes harsh contaminants with better skin and hair guarantee or your money back. Eskin boosts water pressure up to 2.5 times, and 92% of people say their skin and hair improved within weeks of switching. So head to Eskin.com and make the switch to the best filtered shower head in the world today.
Long shift tomorrow. So much homework. Is this all that's left? I need more. My dad will. I don't need this one. I'm not that hungry. I can give him to bed. You miss it. No. What do I do? It's okay. My dad will pay the water. We'll turn it back on. We'll figure it out. He works so hard. We're in this together. Everything's okay. These tips. Maybe I could get a second job. My dad has a second job. We don't need help. We made it this far. If they could help, we don't need this.
Hi. What's your name?
Anna.
After Homoglow cleaned our place for $19, we fired our old housekeeper. Homoglow tackled everything from our kitchen to our bathroom, all our laundry. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19.
Total Beats, America's best-selling Beats brand, is available at Walmart. Total Beats blood pressure support soft chews contain a key ingredient clinically shown to deliver 2 times better blood pressure support. Take control of your health. Head to Walmart and get Total Beats blood pressure support soft chews today.
Retinal vision only on Ring. AI tuning for sharper goodbyes, clearer hellos, and safer tomorrows. Protect your home like I do with Retinal Vision on new 4K cameras and doorbells from Ring. Shop now at ring.com.
I'm Eric, and I'm a pilot. When I'm congested, I can't breathe, I can't sleep, but I can't tell my passengers I can't fly today. That's why I Navage. I've tried nasal sprays, but with Navage, I have the power to remove congestion fast by flushing out germs, mucus, bacteria, and viruses through powered suction in like 30 seconds. I can see the results. I can feel the results.
This cold season, get #1 doctor-recommended Navage, available online and in store.
When you've got a classic ride, you need tools you trust. Whether you drive it every day or only take it out on the biggest night of the year, count on Harbor Freight. 12 days of deals. Happening now.
Hey, buddy.
Morning.
I'm a stickler for good dental care.
Me too.
Ooh, looking sharp today. But even if we take care of our teeth, we can still get...
No, please don't say it.
A big dental bill. That's why dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company is important. Now, this isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. It helps pay for over 400 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures.
That's a lot.
It's easy to find out more. Just call or go online now to get your free information kit with all the details. This dental insurance helps you pay for routine care and expensive major procedures, all with no deductibles and no annual maximums. You can even keep your dentist. Why pay more for dental care? Get your free info kit and start saving today. Call or visit physiciansmutualdental.com. Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Doctors recommend Colay Stool Softener for gentle, dependable relief from constipation. It's so gentle, doctors even recommend it during pregnancy and after surgery. Colay's increases water in the stool, making it softer so it's easier to go. No harsh laxatives, cramping, or straining. Colay's.
Age-related memory decline? Meet new Cunol Brain Health, the first and only tablet to combine 2 high-absorption ingredients, clinically shown to improve memory, focus, attention, and more. Trust Cunol for more comprehensive brain health support.
I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land and seen the wonders of the world, but not yet one common man. I note the obvious differences in every sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike.
David Drucker, is anybody pleased with this? Anybody pleased with like hundreds of pages completely blacked out, no idea whose identity they're hiding? Because it's not 100 or 200 or however many pages were redacted. Those aren't all victims or alleged victims. Are Republicans just as upset about this as Democrats?
Well, some are, but Joe, leave it to the federal government to create a conspiracy where there is none, by mishandling a document release and ignoring the law. But that's to be expected with this administration. Look, there are Republicans that are upset about this. Additionally, this really makes no political sense because it's one of those issues where the party has been divided, where Donald Trump has fomented infighting among his typical allies on Capitol Hill. And this is just more of the same, right? And so you give Democrats another tool with which to, from a political standpoint, divide House and Senate Republicans. You give House and Senate Republicans who have some disagreements about President Trump another issue with which to disagree about him, disagree over him publicly, right? And this is the last thing they need heading into midterm elections. It also serves as a distraction from the number one issue, affordability. I think you'll see some action to try and do something about this around the edges, probably from the usual suspects, Thomas Massie, and Republicans like that. But look, there's a pattern here. The Republicans on Capitol Hill can support a law, as they did with the TikTok ban, and then allow the president of the United States to break the law, to ignore the law. They don't do anything about it. So what has he learned over the past year? He doesn't have to follow the law.
Yeah, and that's what the Wall Street Journal editorial page is saying this morning. He broke the law on TikTok, just like he broke the law on the Kennedy Center. The Wall Street Journal editorial page saying, Ali, we were thinking about just ignoring this because this is just so Trumpian, just like Donald Trump trying to name a class of destroyers or battleships after him. Now the Wall Street Journal is saying, we were going to ignore this because this is just so dumb. This is so Trumpian, but we can't do it because, wait a second, he's breaking the law. And there's a congressional law that he is breaking. The question now is, will Republicans in Congress allow him to continue breaking the law like they did with TikTok? Or are they going to step up and try to force him to actually follow the laws of the land?
That is actually the open question. It has been, though, for the entire last year, right? Because it's stunning to watch the way that these Republican members seem perfectly fine ceding the power spaces that they have always had, whether it's on appropriations and rescissions or something seemingly silly as changing the name on a building that you know is not going to last and that some Democratic president is going to come in and take off as soon as they come back in. But it really is that balancing act of what to point out as completely contrary to the norms and completely disruptive to the way that Washington ultimately works. And so it makes sense that the Journal is calling it out. I think when it comes to the Epstein of it all, there is a question of when they come back in January. Enough of them voted to compel the release of these files because of the political pressure. When it actually...
It's like 427 to 1.
Oh, yeah. Just the one, Clay Higgins in Louisiana, was hanging out there as the lone person. Two interesting dynamics. One, all House Republicans except for Clay Higgins voted for it. Why wouldn't they compel the release of the thing that they said should be released? That's an open question. Two, the Senate never actually voted on this. And so when Chuck Schumer says he's going to put forward something that tries to compel the release of these documents, we actually might see people have to put their names on votes, which is not what they did when they compelled the release of the files. They did it by unanimous consent. They said, this is good, just send it to the president's desk. They didn't want to get bogged down in putting their names to something. So maybe we learn something in January about where people actually stand.
Well, again, I just want to underline again that there has been reporting from this network and others that there's nothing in the files that prove Donald Trump broke the law. Nothing. So the question is, why does Donald Trump, why does the White House continue to drag their feet? Why does the administration continue to drag their feet and keep this story alive? This number one law of crisis management, rule of crisis. Get it behind you. Admit to what you admit to and get it behind you. They've let this story continue to drag on and on and on over the past 6-9 months. And it's their own base that they're pissing off the most. Here's Donald Trump saying something yesterday about something.
This whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has. Like, for instance, today we're building the biggest ships in the world, most powerful ships in the world, and they're asking me questions about Jeffrey Epstein. I thought that was finished. I believe they gave over 100,000 pages of documents, and there is tremendous backlash. It's an interesting question because a lot of people are very angry that pictures are being released of other people that really had nothing to do with Epstein, but they're in a picture with him because he was at a party, and you ruin a reputation of somebody. So a lot of people are very angry that this continues. A lot of Republicans are angry because of the fact that it's just used to deflect against a tremendous success.
No footnote there. We tried to ruin Bill Clinton's reputation, but nobody bought it. You know, Sam, this reminds me, though, about them just allowing this to drag on and on and on and not just releasing it. That panda bear that you did that needlepoint on that said, we've met the enemy and it is us. Yeah, that was very good. I gave that to my daughter when she was younger. She still has it. But anyway. Yeah, very good, Sam. But anyway, Sam, why don't they just release all of this, get it behind them? Again, if Donald Trump is not in these files in a way that causes him any legal problems, and again, that's been all of our reporting, then who's he trying to protect? Because he doesn't care about friends. Who is he trying to protect by continuing to drag his feet on releasing these files?
Before I get to that, would you like a needlepoint of the Trump cargo ships as well? Because I'm taking requests on this holiday season.
I actually think Lemire wanted that for his younger son.
Writing it down. Lemire ship.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Your mom must be so proud of you.
Yes, I'm proud of myself.
So how many customers do you have on Sam's needlepoint on Etsy? How many customers do you have?
As of this morning, 2, you and Lemire. But we're building. We're building. We're going to Shark Tank this thing. All right. To your point, the real admission.
We're building one stitch at a time. I like that. That's his motto. But go ahead.
I'm going to steer this back. So, if you remember, for months, the defense from the Trump administration over that for not releasing these files was that, well, if there's anything nefarious or bad about Donald Trump in these files, then the Democrats would have released them already, right? That was always their line. And to me, that was such an admission. It was an admission that these files would be used by them as a political cudgel. That if there was something in them that could embarrass a Democrat, they would use it. And of course, conversely, that they would protect Donald Trump if there was stuff in there. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And so when you ask, well, who are they hiding? What are they doing? Why are they not just putting it all out there? The only logical explanation for that is that they're trying to protect their client, this is the Department of Justice, Donald Trump, and they're trying to hurt Democrats, which is why you got all those photos about Bill Clinton. And frankly, I don't think we can assume they're operating in any good faith. I mean, this is an administration, the Justice Department, that fought the release of these files, and then when they were compelled to release the files, said, look, we're the most transparent administration in U.S. history.
You fought it. And Susie Wiles told Vanity Fair point blank, Pam Bondi lied about the files. She gave them a file filled with nothingness, and then she said there's a client list on her desk. Because there ain't no client list, and it ain't on her list. That's Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, talking about how the attorney general is acting in bad faith and has from the beginning with the Epstein files.
And I'll just add, I think David hit it on the nail on the head here, which is the way they are handling this is not going to ultimately benefit them in the long run, because either you put everything out all at once when you're ready and when you've redacted it, or you don't, and they haven't, and that's just going to feed conspiracies that more people are getting preferential treatment and that Trump's enemies are not. And it's going to fuel a lot of chatter and conspiracy about what they're trying to do. It's going to start a lot of conversation about what's actually in the files. And then when you say at some point in time down the road, I assume they're going to say, all right, we've released them all that we can release, no one's going to believe you.
Nobody will.
And so they've handled this very, very poorly.
Coming up, the U.S. military says it has carried out another strike on an alleged drug boat. We'll have the latest on the escalating tensions with Venezuela as President Trump expands his pressure campaign. Morning Joe is back in a moment.
When Betty and George turned 50, they figured out that switching 2 unlimited lines from Big Wireless to Consumer Cellular could save people up to $600 a year. So they made the switch and started splurging on date night, and it became their favorite night. No, don't you dare. It's an acquired taste. If you're over 50, get 2 unlimited lines for $30 each. And right now, get your second month free. Call Consumer Cellular.
Most people have no idea just how filthy their shower water is.
We didn't either until we tested ours and found out it was full of chlorine, heavy metals, and rust from old city water pipes.
These contaminants were directly connected to my eczema and dry skin.
And my hair loss.
So my best friend, sister, and I created Eskin, the best filtered shower head in the world.
It installs in minutes, and if it doesn't deliver the best shower experience you've ever had, we'll give you all your money back.
92% of our customers see better skin and hair in just weeks. So head to Eskin.com to filter your shower water with us today.
One of my most frequently asked questions is, how do you get your teeth